How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. With me, as usual, is Leonard. And this week, we're going to do something a little bit different, a little bit of a game, if you will. And I haven't titled it yet. Perhaps we'll think of a title as we're doing this. And the title will be what you see on our YouTube video. So it's quite possible we don't think of anything as this video is going on. In our text messages, I called it the game thing. So,
yeah.
Credit where credit's due. I thought of this idea from another YouTube channel, Thralls of Metal. It's a group of guys from Ohio, oddly enough, who basically review metal, and they did this game, which we'll get to how it's played in a little bit. But anyway, credit to them. Check their channel out.
Well, we took What's that card from Guess the Program that Jim Cornette does.
So. We did, and I'm sure we're going to get a strongly worded letter at some point.
Yeah.
So if you've noticed a lag or some skipping of weeks in our videos and our channel content, it's because my job situation has changed. So the time I have to work on this show is becoming a little bit more chaotic. So to all the people that check in with us, thank you for staying with our channel and bearing with us as we have a little bit of a transition. But this should be a lot of fun. So basically, Leonard and I each came up with 4 questions. And in my head, I thought that these questions would be much more general, and neither of us did that. So, basically, we have a series of 4 questions. Leonard, the questions that he is posed to, put on the text message chain, I should say, he wrote down his answers for, and my job is to guess what he would answer for that question. And the same with me. I came up with 4 questions, and he has to guess what my answer would be. And if we get it wrong, we drink from our Skeeter's glassware glasses. Shout out. I don't think he makes glasses anymore, but in any event. So that is the game, and we are going to start off with one of Leonard's questions.
Okay, so my first question, as I sent to Chaz, I get this back up here, is who had a better super kick, Glacier or Ranger Ross?
So, yeah, when I saw this one, my answer what I would have picked immediately came to mind. But then I was like, well, I don't know. We're pretty fond of Ranger Ross here on the show. Does that mean that's what Leonard's going to pick? I don't know. Ranger Ross, although he was one of the early talent to do the super kick, he wasn't necessarily the person who obviously made it famous. We know who that was, but a lot of people.
I didn't want to go with Shawn Michaels or one of the Young Bucks.
Right.
Therefore, I went with lower down on the super kick scale.
Right, and these are 2 really good choices. And anybody with Shawn Michaels wouldn't be a fair contest. If you had picked like Adam Cole and the Young Bucks, that would have been an interesting matchup. But so this one, Ranger Ross, like I said, he was doing that move before a lot of people were, and he deserves more credit than I think he gets. Glacier, as we know, is one of WCW's opportunities to cash in on the Mortal Kombat popularity. And he had all those vignettes before he debuted of his martial arts skills. Do you remember those, Leonard?
Sorry, I was looking at something on my phone. I just received a text from Ronnie. There are 2 shows in Zanesville, wrestling shows in Zanesville, both on the same night, the same time, December 2nd.
Sounds like we're going to have a party, Leonard.
We might. We'll figure out what we're going to. So, again, the question was Ranger Ross's karate skills.
Yes. Do you remember his vignettes, whether he would demonstrate his martial arts?
Yes. I believe if I remember right, he was like out in the field or outside somewhere and would show his martial arts moves. Yes.
So, I'm just going to go with what I would have picked, and I'm going to go with Glacier.
For all the reasons that you stated, I went with Ranger Ross.
All right.
That means he's a favorite of ours around here on this because we did a spotlight on him. He was the first guy to really use it as a finisher called the combat kick. Glacier, was never lived up to the hype. So
I agree character-wise. I agree. I thought he had a prettier super kick. Maybe that's why
okay.
I picked him.
But you did nail all the reasons I was thinking of. So
all right. So we'll get
yes.
to mine, but Leonard, I forgot to tell you, since my job situation had changed, one of the gifts to myself.
York Foundation, nice.
Yeah, we're big fans of the York Foundation here. I've been wanting to get that shirt on ProWrestlingTees.com for a while, and finally pulled the trigger on it. So
I am not wearing a wrestling shirt tonight, but I'm wearing my Bruce Leroy Kung Fu Academy T-shirt.
that is equally as awesome. That's
Yes, for those of you who know the glory of Bruce Leroy.
absolutely. So my first question was, who would you rather go drinking with, Andre the Giant or Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Either one is a hell of a good time. I think it's a different night. I think with Steve, you're getting in a bar fight, you're getting a busted nose, you're maybe getting gonorrhea.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you know who hangs out in those bars with Steve. Andre, I think, is a more chill evening because it seems like wherever he went, bar, restaurant, club, whatever, he just took the place over. And there's just so many epic drinking stories about him. I think you're more of a Stone Cold guy, but I think drinking with Andre is more iconic. It's like, would you rather catch a pass off of Patrick Mahomes or Joe Montana? Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback.
Right.
But Joe Montana is Joe Montana. So I'm going to say that you went with Andre the Giant. Yes.
All right. I did indeed go with Andre for the reasons you mentioned. Not only would it be more of a chill evening, but just to say that I drank with Andre and was able to have a conversation with him. Obviously it may be a little swayed since Andre is no longer with us and Stone Cold still is. I would eat both of these choices are great. And I have sampled not both, but all three of Stone Cold's beers, and they're all very good. And but yeah, I mean, it's Andre, so just to even if to get drunk and probably pass out with Andre still sitting there, like, I mean,
yeah. They would say he could drink a keg of beer and still be your designated driver,
which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll get to Leonard's next question.
Next question. Who would you rather take out to a nice seafood dinner and never call again, circa the early 1990s, Kimberley Paige or Missy Hyatt?
So this is how they looked then, correct?
Yes. From so we're talking early 90s, like 90 to 95, in that window.
And so, like, you're taking them to dinner, and I'm assuming that's it. It's just a dinner, and then peace out.
Yeah, more or less. You do know where the line's from?
No.
It's from Anchorman.
Oh, okay.
That Champ Kind tells the Brian Mantooth that he's going to take his mother out to a nice seafood dinner and never call her again.
Okay.
That's where the line's from. You just thought I made up this random thing, but no, I believe the connotation is just dinner.
Okay, well, this is difficult. Both at this time were, in my opinion, both at that time were very striking. I have a type. I'm not sure what Leonard's type is when it comes to the world of wrestling, if I'm being honest. So never call again. I'm going to say you went with Missy Hyatt.
Over two, I went for Kimberley Paige.
Oh, really? So you would want then, what I take from this is that you would want a longer evening and more time with Missy Hyatt.
That is not necessarily how I took it. I took it that I thought Kimberley Paige would be the better dinner companion.
Oh, really?
I think she has the better personality.
Oh, I agree with you there.
This is my favorite era for Missy Hyatt because she had the short hair and the ripped jeans, and she managed the Nasty Boys. But Kimberly was just on another level. So I took it as Missy's nothing. I get nothing with Missy. Missy is zero.
You might get something if you're lucky, but
Off of Missy, yes, no. So I went with Kimberly Paige. I think we missed both. We were opposite on our interpretation of the question.
we were, but that's all right. That's what makes this fun.
Yes.
All right. Next question. What match would you rather compete in, Hell in a Cell or the original Elimination Chamber? And to add a little footnote to that, obviously people our age or even 5-10 years younger will remember the original Elimination Chamber, which didn't have mats and was just basically like, steel grates for them to land on the outside. It was very painful from what I could see and what I've heard. But that is the original Elimination Chamber that I was referring to. Hell in the Cell is whatever Hell in the Cell you really want it to be, I guess. But anyway,
those have been pretty standard over the years. They may have changed up the design a little bit, but it's been like a roofed cage that covers the outside ring area. And I noticed that you said original Elimination Chamber. That is very important for all the reasons that you just said. That first match, guys got injured. It didn't work right. Doors opened too soon or didn't open at all.
Right.
Also, with an Elimination Chamber, you're sitting there doing nothing for like 20 minutes if you're the last guy out.
Well, yeah, and I think they did that original design maybe 2-3 times tops.
Like, I mean, I know I'd have to go back and look. It wasn't that long until they increased the safety elements of it. So because of the safety elements of it, I would think that you would say the Elimination Chamber, with it also being the more iconic match of the two. It has the longer history and the more premier matches to it. Elimination. No, I said Elimination Chamber wrong. Hell in a Cell. You took Hell in a Cell.
Oh, at the last second. What am I doing?
Andre the Giant. That was the last answer.
I'm drinking too much.
I'd rather Andre the Giant. Hell in a Cell. Yeah, Hell in a Cell. Right. Yeah.
Yep. So that's 2 for 2, and I am 0 for 2. I might very well be 0 for 4 by the end of this.
I don't know. Here's about if you're 0 for 4, you got to finish what you're drinking.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay. So the next question, you got 2 left.
All right.
Who would you rather invest in a wrestling promotion with? A promotion ran by Herb Abrams or Dixie Carter?
So, yeah. I mean, obviously people will know Dixie Carter being from the TNA Impact, one of the eras of TNA Impact, post Jeff Jarrett, pre who's the guy in charge now?
Well, it's I'm blanking on his name. The Canadian dude's the booker.
Scott D'Amore.
Scott D'Amore.
Thought of it.
Yeah.
So yes. So, and she made herself a character on screen. Herb Abrams, for those of us who watched Dark Side of the Ring, if you knew about him before then hats off to you. He had the UWF, right? Or was the UFW? UWF, I believe.
The UWFs.
Yeah.
Because Bill Watts did not trademark Universal Wrestling Federation. So for the name recognition, Herb scooped it up.
Right. And so that, like, Herb Abrams was also a personality that you would see if you watched those shows or visited. Like, he did commentary, I think, and but he was out of control, a drug addict, and pretty much just insane. Dixie Carter, by all accounts, was a very nice lady. So I went with a logical answer here, Leonard. I didn't think to myself, well, Leonard's going to go with the cokehead guy. I went with Dixie because if you wanted to run a promotion and do it successfully, you'd be better off with her than you would Herb Abrams.
See, again, I think we misinterpreted the question because I think either which way you go, you're going to fail. It's a more spectacular failure with Herb Abrams. It's a better story. It's a lot more fun.
You might die.
Yes. It's way cooler to run a promotion into the ground with Herb Abrams.
So you're saying you'd rather be on Dark Side of the Ring than,
Right, with Herb Abrams than a footnote in wrestling history.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I have one more chance left. So
Yes.
my next question is, this is your one and only WrestleMania match.
Mm-hmm.
Who is your producer / agent, Michael Hayes or Pat Patterson? Both very reputable, not only talents, but reputable agents / producers, responsible for some great matches over the years. Some of them we know about, like Patterson did Hogan and Warrior. And Michael Hayes, I can't think of some of the ones he did off the top of my head, but he did a bunch of great ones as well.
Is
So
he still there?
I feel like he might be, but
I thought he was still there. Yeah, so Hayes has longevity. I mean, Pat was there for a long time, but Hayes is still there. He's been there for a very long time now, if he is. Again, if this feels like my analogy earlier about Mahomes and Montana, Hayes might be a great agent, but Patterson's considered one of the all-time best as far as coming up with finishes and helping guys to map out matches. And of course, he always, mapped out the Royal Rumble every year. We're talking WrestleMania here, not Royal Rumble. So, and I get the feeling that you might be more of a Patterson guy than a Hayes guy. So I said Pat Patterson. Yeah.
all right. Leonard is 3 for 3.
Mm-hmm.
If Leonard gets all 4 right, you heard him say it. If he gets all 4 right, he has to finish his drink.
You know what? I'll do that too. If I get all 4 right, I'll finish mine.
All right.
Yeah, clean sweep either way. You miss them all or you get them all.
Right.
Last one for you. Where would you rather see a wrestling match or wrestling show? Not just a match, whole show, wrestling show. Would you rather see that at Madison Square Garden or the Tokyo Dome?
Yeah, so this is a good question. I've seen a WrestleMania. It was not at it was not at Madison Square Garden. I went to MetLife Stadium to see
Jersey. Yeah.
And I've seen a couple other pay-per-views in New Jersey as well. I've never been to Japan. Always wanted to go, not just for the wrestling history, but the movie history as well. But both would be great venues. I've been to Madison Square Garden several times for other things. Mm-hmm. Now, what would Leonard pick? To me, this is an easy one, hopefully, for me. I'm going to go with Madison Square Garden here.
Correct. You got 1 out of 4.
1 out of 4.
Yeah. I was trying to think of another really iconic arena, and I went with Tokyo. And I'm not the biggest, Japanese wrestling fan, although going to Japan and seeing a show at the Tokyo Dome would be amazing. If you said, hey, jump on a plane today, I'm on the plane with you to do that. But Madison Square Garden, for U.S. wrestling fans and WWF wrestling fans, is just so historical and so iconic, and there's so much stuff there. And I've been to Madison Square Garden one time. I have sang inside of Madison Square Garden.
Well, that's something nobody listens to this knew.
Was going to expect, yes. So I never remember the year if it was 95 or 96, but my high school choir, we performed in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Oh, wow, okay.
Choirs from all over the country, part of this program called America Sings. And we had rehearsals the day before in the back of Madison Square Garden. And they were doing the preseason basketball tournament at the time, and we got to meet a lot of the high school, college basketball teams that were coming through, including Arizona, and that was the year they won the national title.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
I did not ask that question. I did not ask that question just to tell that story, but I thought of that story after I posed the question.
That's a really cool story. And, I personally, based on the fact that I've gone to Madison Square Garden for other things, and I know what a price pit that place is, it's so expensive there. I would definitely pick the Tokyo Dome because it would mean I would go to Japan. But,
yes.
It obviously, for the same reasons Leonard said he would hop on a plane to Tokyo, I would absolutely go to a WrestleMania or any big event in Madison Square Garden, wrestling related. It would be a lot of fun. The place does have a lot of history, and it's the easiest one for me to get to. It's literally right off of the,
Right.
Penn Station subway stop. So, anywho, my last question, maybe my toughest, I don't know. You can transport one star to the 1980s to face Ric Flair, Bryan Danielson, or AJ Styles.
And you said this was in their prime.
Yes.
Because I clarified that. Not up to
I will
today.
say this. The prime of these particular two would probably be debated at this point. But yes, in their prime.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. It could be. This could be kind of a mood addition to the question. And I do agree with you. I think this was your toughest. This was a coin flip for me on which way to go. Because I started to think of, who would make the better opponent for Flair as opposed to who were good opponents for Flair. If you talk rivalry, it's Dusty Rhodes. If you talk just match quality, it's probably Ricky Steamboat. Right. I think Styles is more of a Steamboat type wrestler than Danielson. Danielson is more of a mat-based, grappler-based, maybe more on a Flair level, while Styles is quicker, agile, will go up top, those types of things. And I think the best matches for Flair were not necessarily where he was matched against someone just like him, but someone who had those elements, but brought something else to the table, whether it was the athleticism of Sting or the speed and agility of Ricky Steamboat or even the brawling nature of a Terry Funk. And I think you're more of a Styles guy than a Danielson guy. But again, I think this is razor thin, but I'm going to go with AJ Styles.
All right. Bryan Danielson.
So I don't have to finish. I don't have to finish what I'm drinking. I'm going to take a drink anyway.
So yeah, some of the reasons you said are why I selected him. I think that both of these guys would have a great match with Ric Flair. But I think that Bryan Danielson would have the match that we'd be talking about today with Ric Flair. I think if you had AJ Styles there, you would say, "Oh wow, that was another Ric Flair's one of his good matches." But how about that classic with Bryan Danielson? I think that matching these two together would really be interesting to see. And you see Bryan Danielson even today when he's matched with somebody who's the consummate heel, how kind of perfect it is. So I just think that these two would mesh really well. But Bryan Danielson can do a lot of different things. He can be mat based, or he can, insert some high flying stuff when he wants to. So for that reason, I went with him. Obviously both of these guys would be great, but one thing I know after doing this game, Leonard, is that I need to think of tougher questions. So
okay, and I think I need to maybe clarify mine more, because it seems like we were interpreting my questions differently for each of us.
Right. With the Kimberley Paige, Missy Hyatt one, I was like, who's he want to bang once and then leave?
Yeah, and I was thinking it's either one or the other. It's not, oh, you get more with the other one.
You were like, who am I going to have a better conversation with?
Who would I enjoy the evening with more? It's
right. Well, anyway, so let's before we sign off here, we can shoot the shit about some wrestling related news. As this gets completed, it will probably be, both of these things have been revealed. So it'll be maybe fun for those still watching to see what we thought. So two big storylines going on in the WWE, which I don't watch nearly as much these days. They're having a War Games match coming up, a Survivor Series that, if I recall correctly, is in Chicago. And apparently, I think one of the teams is a man down. So the rumor is that it's going to be CM Punk. And then on the other side at AEW, there's somebody dressing up in MJF's devil mask. We know it's not MJF. who's going to be facing Jay White at Full Gear. And everybody wants to know who's under the hood. A lot of people think that it's CM Punk. CM Punk, even though I'm, not a fan of some of the things that I've heard of lately, is doing some epic level trolling on social media.
Yes.
Like, posting videos from when he was in WWE, but of himself looking like the devil, which echoes to AEW, is just like capturing the best of both promotions to the point where he is still what everybody is talking about. And whether you love him or hate him, you have to respect how he is keeping his name in the conversation, even though he's not doing anything. So I personally, I'm going to stick with what I said before, which goes to Leonard and I, the bet Leonard and I made.
Yes.
I do not think we will see him in WWE. Yes, I know it's in Chicago and it would be perfect. I think it's more likely that you'll see somebody else fill in to some spot or make an appearance, maybe a Randy Orton or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Randy Orton's apparently ready to come back, and a lot of people think that he's going to make a return at Survivor Series. Survivor Series is known for debuts and returns.
That's true.
So I would think it's Randy Orton. And for your AEW question, I know that Tony Khan is supposed to announce a big free agent signing. Maybe it's the mask guy, maybe it's not. But the name that I've seen floated, and it's really the only name I can think of that's out there right now, is Dolph Ziggler.
Right, which, I mean, it makes sense to have Dolph Ziggler. I said this in a previous show because his brother is there. And, that would be a natural tag team, in my opinion. I heard Sami Callihan's name floated for the signing, not the devil thing. But
okay, well, I can see Sammy for that too, because he did some hardcore stuff and such right. When he was in Impact.
I think it was, I forget who. I think it was Bully Ray on their show Busted Open, who said if it's CM Punk under that mask, then he would go into Times Square and say Tony Khan's a genius.
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, that would be the most insane storyline we've seen in a very long time, if that was the case. I think that's a long shot too. I really, really do. I don't know. I mean, storyline wise in AEW, I always thought that it might be Adam Cole, who's supposed to be friends with MJF and who's supposedly out with an injury. So I thought that would make more sense.
That does make sense.
And the Kingdom, which is Roderick Strong, Mike Bennett, and I forget the other guys.
Bobby Fish?
No.
Is it Bobby Fish?
Bobby Fish, I think, was in Impact last I heard, because he is pretty.
Okay.
He's damn near made himself unemployable because he shit talks everybody. Matt Taven, maybe, I forget.
Oh, Matt Taven. Okay.
Anyway, so that's what I always thought that they were going to go with. That the injury to Adam Cole might not be fully legit. That it's a part of a storyline, but I don't know. If it's not somebody big at this point, then it'll be a disappointment.
But I don't know what name is available.
Right, that's the thing, and I think there's less pressure on WWE. If it's just Randy Orton, you're still going to get that pop because it's Randy Orton.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in Chicago, so you might have some mixture of booze, but if AEW doesn't deliver with some sort of name, then this is a storyline that's been going on for several weeks. So
it's going to be Hulk Hogan. They signed Flair.
They did, and he's not going to wrestle there. But I don't know. Everybody has their opinion about this. I think it's kind of sweet that they brought in Ric Flair, even if it's for his energy drink. I get that. Who cares? To see Sting kind of ride off into the sunset with the guy who made him, I think that that's a really sweet notion. But some people are just looking at it I don't know, it's not that great of an idea.
Well, Flair's going to betray Sting.
Do you think?
Yes, it's going to come down to whatever the match is, and Flair is going to woo and drop to his knees and can Sting in the nuts, because that's what always happens.
From what I heard, like he's definitely not going to wrestle. I suppose that doesn't mean he won't get physical in some way. But
yeah, it doesn't mean he can still punch a guy in the balls. I mean, he's Ric Flair.
Hilarious, and it would be more hilarious if Jay Lethal's involved. The fact that they haven't done anything yet. Well, Ric Flair's only appeared once, so
yes, yeah, you can't take all your toys out of the box on night one. You know,
right.
You gotta wait.
Anyway, so I hope everybody enjoyed our little game here, which I might just put under the fully loaded questions banner because
possible that's fine. I had fun with this, and I would love to give it a second try. And I did well on your questions. I think I need to reconsider my thinking for my questions.
Your assumption of my Anchorman knowledge was a little over the top. Like I like that movie. It's been a while since I've seen it. Because
you just thought I came up with that on my own. The idea of taking
and I read it very literally. I was like, does he want a one night stand with this person, or is it just dinner? Like, because if it's just dinner, then I really don't know who to pick. But yeah. Anywho, we're all fans of Missy Hyatt and Kimberley Paige, right?
Yes, Missy Hyatt is going to be at the Chill Coffee Show coming up in March. And I believe I showed on the program a dual signed Nasty Boys with her in it as the manager. So I can't wait to get that signed and have that triple signed photo. That would be become a prize in my collection.
And we should, ask her if she'd go to a seafood dinner.
I'll ask her. These days, I don't know if there's a good seafood restaurant in Chillicothe, Ohio. I'm going to say no.
Yeah, where's the nearest Red Lobster?
Yeah, it's got to be Red Lobster if it's anything.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for checking us out. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our content, and check out our other videos, Segment Surgery, Random Match Reviews, What's That Card, and we are also available wherever you listen to podcasts. For Leonard, my name is Chad, and we will see you next time.